Thanks for coming by again. Welcome back to the channel. Anyone that liked, commented, subscribed, really appreciate it. One subscriber again away from 30, which again, still a goal. Now, I wanted to take this time in the video to actually talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs in more of a in-depth overview. I did already talk about their top prospects and who they picked, but I really wanted to talk about what I think they need to do and my projections for the 2021 season for them. Now, this banner here, as everyone knows, the last number on it is 1967. That's a long time of not winning a Stanley Cup. I obviously have never seen a Stanley Cup in my lifetime, neither has my father, and almost everyone I know, aside from my grandparents. I could do a video like this every single year, breaking down what they need to do, what they did well, and what I think they have to do to get to the point of even talking about winning a Stanley Cup. But nevertheless, we have to do it. We have to break down these teams because it's interesting looking back year to year of what was the main crux and failures in those teams. So we'll just get right into it. I think the number one thing that the Leafs need to do to have a powerhouse regular season is we need a full healthy season from Auston Matthews, because in each of his seasons so far he's had stretches where he's missed a significant amount of time, and I believe the most that he missed was around 15 games or 15 games a couple years ago, but every year it's been consistent with something, and the main thing's been his shoulder injury. And he's re-aggravated it a couple times. And Matthews was going to score 50 goals this year if it wasn't cut down the season. And I think he could be a 50, 60 goal scorer, obviously. He could probably hit that a couple times in his career, but he needs to keep healthy. Otherwise, you're never going to hit that 82 games played. And I also think Matthews needs to definitely become more of an assist guy. He is very good at passing the puck. Obviously, he's a shoot-first player, and he's shown how skilled he is at both of those aspects of the offensive game. And he needs to be a distributor first because he is a center. The guy that you can maybe look at being a prototypical sniper that people don't think about is Mats Sundin. He was considered more of a sniper, but he was also a very good playmaker and as a center. I would like Matthews to try to model his game around him, showing off that just so they have to respect your pass, because it's more that when they're on like a power play, they respect the Marner pass and the Nylander pass. They don't usually try to respect Matthews' pass. It's because they know he's trying to rip the puck and be the guy that scores, which in most cases works, but when the team figures you out, that's how you go on power play droughts, because it doesn't have that much difference in the approach power play to power play, and they don't adjust well to teams figuring out their power play approach. The next point is that Frederik Andersen needs to stay consistent, which I think this year was his probably best year he had as a Leaf. He didn't have that October-November start where he was really bad. Like the first 2 years that we had him, he was really bad in October, November, and then he really found his stride. You need to win those games early on. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on crucial points, and in the end, the race, it might be too little to win the division or something like that, and you would hope that it wouldn't be that you're looking back saying you didn't make the playoffs because of a couple points, but that has happened in the past to teams where they give up early games in October, and they look forward to April and say, oh, if we only had those 2 to 4 points. And prime example is the Montreal Canadiens this year lost every meeting with the Detroit Red Wings, and that was just something that we'll get into in a minute about what the Leafs have done in that sense of winning winnable. The next point is that we definitely need more contributions offensively from the defensemen. Our defense is capable, and even not looking at the defensive core coming up, but when you have Jake Muzzin at the point, and we had Tyson Barrie, those are guys that are capable of scoring. They have really hard shots. They are skilled at getting the puck through on net, but it seems that they were so focused on getting the forwards into the play that they would give up prime shooting opportunities or shooting for a rebound instead of trying to do that. They were trying to force things to the forwards and just thinking, oh, it's Austin Matthews, I better give him the puck. That's the way that I see it. But Riley has shown that he's definitely capable of going on big runs, and that's my next point. That Morgan Riley can't go on big cold streaks. He needs to be consistent offensively. He's shown that he can do it with this group, and he needs to do it again. My next point is that we need consistent wins and reliable outings from our backup goalie situation. Whoever the backup goalie is to be seen. We'll see it in the training camp of who's going to win that job. But whoever it's going to be is going to need to be relied on every time there's a back-to-back, most likely, because that's what this team does. When there's a back-to-back, they throw the backup in there, and Mike Babcock did it more than anyone in the league of just relying on them and not getting the results. But nevertheless, the backup needs to come in and give us a chance to win. We talked about this before, about how they can't be giving up easy shots that end up being goals. They can't, because that sucks the life out of the team, and if it's at home, the whole building. You need to keep that momentum, especially with this young team where the emotions go up and down a lot faster, and they haven't maybe learned to compose themselves when the things don't go your way. The goalies, especially if it's going to be a Jack Campbell or Aaron Dell, although they're not old by any means, but they might have a better chance at composing themselves, because especially Jack Campbell, I mean, he's been through the ringer. He was a high draft pick, didn't pan out too much. He was definitely one that had to work on his emotions and composure, because I think he saw himself as like a really high tier player and had to learn to be humble. So I think he's a good backup. I think he's a perfect personality for a backup. And hopefully, if he is the backup, he can get the job done. Another point is we need to go for it and win the division. If you think that you are as good as Tampa, if you think you are as good as Boston, you should have a chance at winning the division. And there's a few things that are separating us, a few obvious things. Obviously, we aren't as good as the Tampa Bay Lightning. We aren't as well-rounded. And we obviously don't have a Stanley Cup like them. The Tampa Bay Lightning just have aspects that are very hard to explain of why they're better. Most of it, I think, would be maturity and playoff experience and learning from their losses and failures. Maybe their own self-inflicted failures or just losing to good teams. We need to go for that division. We can't have them sit in front of us and just say, all right, well, we're going to finish in whatever position and just take our playoff seed. That's the thing. You have to win those winnable games that in October. So if you're playing against, say, a beaten-up Oilers team that has not that great defense, you have to expose that. And you have to be able to get those 2 points. But if you don't show up that game and you don't get those 2 points, and you do that consistently, you blow leads consistently, and you lose those games consistently, you get 1 point instead of 2, then you look back and you say, okay, we were 8 points from the division lead, and you look back at all the points that you lost against teams like Detroit and Ottawa or Carolina Hurricanes that it just seems we can't win against, and especially the Boston Bruins, that it just gets in our head. Another point is that we just need to play into Sheldon Keefe's system, and I think embrace it. He was a very refreshing addition to this team and replacement for Mike Babcock. He's a deserving head coach. Everyone loved him when he was down on the Marlies, and he had so much success there. And a lot of the guys right now that are on the Leafs were under Keefe at some point. Now, they excelled when Keefe came in, and I think with a full season and a full time to get his system in there, you just have to play the system. Whatever you're asked to do, you have to do. You need to play as a team. And I know that sounds very cliche and very oversaid, but in hockey, it is one of the most important things that you have to do. You have to play as a unit because you can't just take over a game if your line's not on there. This isn't basketball where one guy could play 48 minutes and you just hand him the ball. This is your line goes out there. You have to do something as hard as you can for 45 seconds to a minute, and you just have to play as a team. Now, we also just need to beat our playoff demons. And before I say what I'm thinking about that, I know there's probably two things going through whoever's watching this head. It's either the Boston Bruins or ourselves. And both are equally as right. And it hasn't just become the Boston Bruins. We did lose to Columbus this year, but we need to, I think the first round, and the Boston Bruins especially, just because of playoff experience, are our demons. And we need to exercise them. That you can't get to the next round if you don't win. And also, it's ourselves that are our biggest enemy when it comes to not getting out of the first round. And I've always looked at it as we're just so focused on getting out of that first round that I feel like once we get past it, you're going to look and realize you have 3 more to go. And you have to be expected to surpass those rounds like year after year if you're going to be considered a success in the eyes of everyone. If I've always believed that all it would take was them getting past that one round one time. And I feel like they would have had some confidence that they couldn't explain where it came from, but it came from overcoming their failures. And like I said, there's always next year, but it has to be the year coming up because you can't have another first round exit. You just can't. If you have a great season, you can't have another first round exit. There's no way to put it. Bottom line is, this is the most valuable team in all of the National Hockey League, and to see it being squandered every single year, and to see it's not a private owner that they have, it's shareholders. So they are going to lose patience, and they're going to say, we need to get this team to make as much money as it can. And that's the hard part about it, is that it's a business, and although from a fan's perspective sometimes we forget that. But I think this year is the year that they have to. They have to get past that first round. They have to get past the second round. This is inexcusable that they're even in this position. So I'm just going to give a quick projection of where I think they will finish. I think that we will get second in the division. I feel that with the addition of TJ Brodie, and I know we got Zach Bogosian, but I really think it's TJ Brodie that will make the difference because he seems like a guy who's not afraid to shoot the puck and is a good puck mover, a lot more responsible defensively than Tyson Barrie was. I think it will be good enough to get us second. We are fully capable of passing the Boston Bruins and having them third. I don't think Tampa's going to be caught. I think they're still just as good as they were last year. But we have to win those winnable games. If we're going to be losing points and everything, I think we'll be talking about something different by this time next year of what happened. All right, so that pretty much wraps this one up. I appreciate everyone for watching and listening to me talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. I know if you're not a fan of the Leafs, it could be a little hard to listen to, but I appreciate everyone that's come by, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be working on another video tonight. I'm going to be releasing it tonight. Had a lot of fun doing this one. And thanks to everyone that's come by, and let's help get me to 30 subscribers. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.